have Carter up here reviewing all day. So let's get into this Ye shit, and then we'll
because his
do
don't count.
another we'll do another review. Hey, the truth is the truth. I'm sorry. I don't know what you want me to say.
If you really want to even this out, you'd make me actually decrease the required amount because I'm actually negative on the whole scoring.
Hey, man, come on, cuz. You know you my Jewish partner, man.
So let's start here, yo. I don't know if you've been seeing how Ye has been in the news for calling Beyonce and Jay-Z's children the R word. Which is crazy beyond measure, like beyond measure, to attack someone's children and then in the apology to attack them harder. So he called them the R word.
Hold on, let's back up a second. You were talking about your news this morning. I get up in the morning and I have a really like calm news cycle. It's all music. It was like Paul McCartney turns 82. Celine Dion gets a standing ovation over her documentary. Ye calls Jay-Z's kids retarded.
Yeah, nuts, yo, nuts. And then in the apology, he says, I forget what he says, but he says something like, I had to take it down. I took my post down like syndrome. Get it? Down syndrome. Like, he's a ridiculous person, my guy. And so I saw that and I was just like, I've been right the whole time about this nigga. I've been right about this nigga the whole time. But then Graham texted me and he was like saying that he was spending time in Reddit rooms, and a Kanye Reddit subreddit specifically. And I had been saying on the show for a long time that we need to be very specific about separating hip hop from internet culture. And like Kanye is like more of an internet representative than he is a hip hop representative. And Graham said spending time in the subreddit had given him a new perspective on that. And he's saying that there's maybe not as much daylight between hip hop and the internet as I might think. And so I said, yo, let's talk about it. I'd love to hear about what you found. So Graham, you could take it away from here.
Yeah, one, if you don't need to be in the Kanye subreddit, don't do that. It's bad for your mental health. So kind of wrote some notes here. I mean, I think the nice thing about hip hop is that it's like easily definable. It's got 5 pillars and, you know, you can define the difference between a fan like me, an artist like Uno or Sanctus, and then like an internet troll, right? Those things are really easily identifiable. Here's kind of what I saw. If Kanye is in fact still considered part of hip hop, it's like the ICP of hip hop, right? It's like there's little to no actual attention being paid to the music. It's all about the controversy, right? Like I think on that Reddit, he got like one post today that was like, yeah, Bully sucks, right? Like that's pretty much what people said. But everything else was like, here's this tweet, here's this, here's that. And then I think that like what's really interesting to me is the crossover fandom is where that line starts to sort of blur, because I think it's very easy to say like, okay, if you're into like neo-Nazism, you're not part of hip hop. And I would say that under my understanding of hip hop, that's what I would agree with. But like the crossover fandom here is that he's not talking to hip hop fans anymore. Like he does not give a shit if you are a hip hop fan, what you think. He is only talking to young, disenfranchised white men. He's become the ultimate choose me icon. He's like, oh my God, please choose me because, you know, when Trump does whatever the fuck he's going to do, then I'm fucking in. I'm one of the people who's going to be safe. Like, it's crazy. He's not even talking to the QAnons. He's talking to their kids and they're here for it. Like they're not hiding it. Like he's very clearly now a cult leader. So like Wu-Tang may be for the kids, but they've never been walking up to your kids and asking them to get into a van for candy. That was my first thought. The second thought I had was sort of like, where does that line actually separate? And I think that like, you can see hip hop fans desperately clinging to young Kanye, like he's a lifeboat against what he's doing to himself and to the world now. They're like, you got to separate the art from the artist, which I think that's fair. Everybody has to decide where that line is for themselves. Yeah, but he's mentally ill. I know a lot of mentally ill people. Never heard any of them say any of this shit. And then here's my favorite. Sure, but what he's saying is kind of true. So when he says something untrue, I'll say something. And they never do. They never say it because apparently nothing he ever says is untrue. And then I think that like the reality is I think it's what I see as an outsider is that hip hop, you know, when they distance themselves from R. Kelly, like when R. Kelly happened, everyone was like, nope, we're not playing any of those records. We're not doing it anymore. That's not what's happened with Kanye. They're still willing to play the records from before they knew this about him. And because of that, that line is still really blurred. Now, if they just chopped it off, I think there would be an easier distinction between the two, but I don't see that as having happened, if that makes sense.
No, I think that's a fair point, but I think to my point, so as far as like you would be hard pressed to find any hip hop fan listening to ICP ever. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I
Fuck
feel like
ICP, buy my CD.
ICP was like the human meme before a meme existed, right?
Yeah.
Like they're the epitome of like doing anything to get attention. I'm not saying there's not talent there. I've just never listened to it, but like
There
they're
isn't.
first and foremost, they're about getting attention. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so I think Ye is very much on the internet side in that way. And then I think I've found that most of the people willing to concede to Kanye's points are people that aren't necessarily fans of hip hop. I think they're people who do conflate the internet and hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Because most of the people, and this is just my experience, obviously we have very, very different experiences, but I've seen a lot of people who like love hip hop very much distance themselves from Ye. But like if I go to the bar, I still hear Kanye songs. I still hear R. Kelly songs in the bar. You know what I'm saying? Like people who don't care about this shit, they just don't care. Like that, like I'm like I'll notice because I've never really been a Kanye fan. So even before all this, if a Kanye song comes on in the club, I stop dancing unless it's like a bop, like Stronger or whatever. Like, and now I don't dance to any Kanye songs because the first thing I think about is, you know, him being a Nazi. And but I look around and I'm the only person that stops dancing. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody else gives a fuck about any of this shit at all. And I think those are people and I just don't think there's a very large hip hop contingency. I think there is a bigger hip hop has been swallowed up by pop culture. There's a bigger pop culture contingency than there's a hip hop one, and I think it's all just getting conflated. You know what I'm saying? I would love to hear I would love to hear like you big Mike, since you've been around a little, you know, a little longer than me. What's your perspective on this?
Man, you just gotta cut a nigga off, bro. You just gotta cut a nigga off, bro. Let me tell you something, bro. If that nigga was in my crew, like there's some things you just cannot stand for, bro. Like you just can't say anything, bro. It's a reflection of us, man. You just gotta cut a nigga off, man. I'm not even gonna over talk it. Fuck you, man. He tripping, bro.
I feel
He tripping.
you.
Like I can't even sit. Cause see, this is the thing about it, man. For a man to be that talented and be like so prominent in the hip hop culture, and then nigga, somebody need to tranquilize him, bro. Like my nigga off his rocker, bro. Like there's no excuse for it. Like the shit that come out your mouth. I hope every man on this panel right here will hold me accountable if I said some foul, out of pocket shit, bro. Like, and then they're like, okay, I am guilty of the shits and giggles. You know what I'm saying? When he was going back and forth with Iggy yesterday, I tuned in. When I said I would never tune in again. But then when that Jay-Z shit came out, I was like, cuz, this is why you gotta quit fucking with this nigga. Like you said you was gonna stop fucking with this nigga the last time you said you was gonna stop fucking with this nigga, and you still ain't stop fucking with this nigga. Sometimes you just gotta cut a nigga off, bro. And the thing about it is, bro, when I see somebody that talented and that dope, it just go down like that, I've really been praying for cuz. Like, cuz, you gotta be going through something, cuz. You have to, bro.
I feel like he's had a mental snap of some
ain't
kind.
No fucking way, cuz, that you did that. You just did this, and I used to fucking love you, bro. College Dropout is like some of my favorite shit, cuz. Like, bro, you have to stand for something and you'll fall for anything. And my nigga done lost it, cuz. Like,
but I can tell you, I could fully see how this trajectory happens. I'll tell you after, but I'm also very interested in Uno's take because Uno, you know,
Cocaine. Spoiler, it's cocaine.
Uno has a different relationship with Ye's music. So what's your perspective on it?
I think it's tough to with certain people, right? Like when it comes to music and when it comes to the person. When you first initially hear something, that moment and that energy and that nostalgia is trapped with you forever. And that song, every time it gets played, it makes you feel the same way you felt when you first heard it. A great song. That's what music does. It puts you in a timestamp that's for life. So, like when I heard "Take Care" for the first time, like I was a sophomore sitting in my bed, like in Newberry Park, about to go to a new school. You feel me? Like there's different memories that music plays a part in. And so for me, I understand Graham's point of view. Like I really do. But it goes to a deeper issue. I think the deeper issue is if it doesn't necessarily affect you, then you don't necessarily have a problem with something. Like he went on a whole like recently he's went on his Jewish thing. So I know Graham for sure don't been fucking with him since then. But when he's prior to that, he's had his extreme episodes where where he's not cared about people, not cared about society, only cared about himself. And since it didn't necessarily affect people directly, we chose to not give a fuck about it and ignore it. I think when it causes uh, hurt for somebody, I think that's when they personally have, it affects them. And I will say, like, if I feel like I need to hear the greatest album of all time, I'm gonna play a Kanye album. But at the end of the day, anything he says, I don't even tune into. I can't watch his interviews. I can't buy his merch anymore. I can't support what he does as a man. But for me to throw away the memory that my dark twisted fantasy has done for me and graduation has done for me is just not reasonable and not doable at the moment.
That's. I mean, I can. I mean, sentimental ties are very very strong. I think one of the first things I did when I had my awakening was kind of cut all of my sentimental ties because they are so powerful and they do prevent quick change. You know, I don't think they prevent change, but they do prevent quick change. And I was in a time where I needed to change quickly. I felt like I just had to do something different. And so cutting like being less sentimental was one of the ways I did that. And I think that's why I'm able to answer Ventura Tide Pod's question, which is what if he made the best song in history next week? And for me, there's no song good enough to tolerate oppression of people. You know what I'm saying? Like there's not a song in the world that's good enough for that. There's not pussy in the world that's good enough for that. There's not enough money in the world there's not enough for me to accept somebody who promotes the basically erasure of an entire people. And Nazis don't like black people either, y'all. Let's not forget that. Like they talk about Jews, but they don't fuck with us either. You know what I'm saying? Let's be very clear. And I think that's the thing that's been crazy for me is like fuck the music is more so the going from George Bush don't care about black people and you put yourself on the line to now like it seems like you don't even care about black people. And that shit is crazy to me. Like that's the wild transition to me. Graham, you
Real
look like
quick,
you was about to say something. Go for
well,
it.
real quick, I just wanted to say something because I think that, well, one, I just appreciate Uno and Big Mike's take. Sanctus, yours also. I think though that there's something that came through to me as I was finishing. At the end of the day, I had to get off this thing because it was like messing with my mental health for obvious reasons. It's not 2024 and 2025 are completely different years, like in terms of how we deal with these things. Like the guardrails are off in society, right? We're actually watching people who may or may not be guilty sent to another country, have their heads shaved, have their rights completely revoked. So the message to everybody in society is like, hey, violence of a certain kind is totally fine as long as it's against somebody that, we deem is okay. And I think that's my concern about Kanye, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, last year versus now is like, the guardrails are down. Like we have somebody at the very top who's totally fine with you committing violence against certain people as long as he doesn't like them, right?
And you're not wrong. Segregation was actually just legalized, I think, yesterday in federal with federal contracts, something crazy like that. Like so, we are marching backwards in time for sure.
I need a drink, and I don't even drink, guys.
So it's crazy. I think I mean I guess the better question is like, is someone like Ye redeemable? You feel what I'm saying? Like, is there anything he can do for like, I'm gonna answer myself, but for people like Graham, even Uno, like, is there something he could do that to make you, and Big Mike, is there something he could do to make you be like, oh, okay, I fuck with this nigga again. I'll buy his merch again. You know what I'm saying? I'll listen to his point of view again. Go ahead, Big Mike.
He got to do 1 million push-ups, butt naked in Times Square. Yeah. Gotta humiliate yourself like you've been humiliating everybody else. That's what we're gonna do.
I'm dead.
You gotta shuck 1 million oysters in the Louisiana heat. Yeah, that's what you gotta do. Yeah, in some of them ugly ass Yeezy clothes. Yeah, while we videotape it, it's humiliate too, because you out here on the jackass mode.
That part. I'm dead. Uno, what about you? What's your answer?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's redeemable. I think, is Kanye gonna do what he needs to do to be redeemable? Not the necessary steps, but he's just gonna go away like he always does. He goes away for a few years, comes back, and niggas buy his shit. So I think in that facet, but will people actually like forgive him? Nah, because he's never gonna do the actions that need to be done to be forgivable.
I feel that. And Graham, what about you?
I mean, as the representative Jew of this podcast, I guess, like, yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem forgiving him or getting him or having him be redeemable. I think that Big Mike's right. It's about your actions, not your words. I don't care what he says. I care what he does. I also agree with Uno. I think the problem with being that famous and that wealthy is you're surrounded by a lot of people who want to make sure you keep doing even the most outrageous things because they're getting paid off of it. So I don't think it's going to happen. But sure, if he went away for a couple of years, put his money where his mouth is, like started really donating to groups of the people that he had hurt and made real strides to understand those groups and try to be a good representative against people who would parrot the things that he used to say, sure, it's just not going to happen. I mean, like, I agree with Uno that it's never going to happen.
I feel that. And to wrap on this topic, I definitely can see, believe it or not, how like I could honestly see myself becoming like a Kanye had I stayed in Hollywood, because the way Hollywood is structured, it believe it or not, the way, especially like as you gain success in Black culture in Hollywood, your success becomes more dependent on your proximity to A, capital, and B, whiteness. Those are the things that your success is dependent on as you get deeper into Hollywood, right? And so you can even like ask Black dancers, ask Black managers and agents. There's a thing called white money in Hollywood that they talk about, and white money is always better than Black money, because they say there's a saying that goes like, Black money is always late, Black money is this, Black money is that, white money is better. You feel what I'm saying? And you can see that that is an ideology that Kanye has adopted. And those are the two things that he's tried to be closer to as he's tried to hit that billionaire status. I can tell you, as somebody, I'm definitely one of the first rappers of the new generation to kick it around billionaires. Like, my first deals were with billionaires directly. Like, before people knew that there were actual individuals with $1 billion, I was kicking it with billionaires, like, and signed to billionaires. And my goal when I saw that was like, oh shit, I want to be a billionaire. But then when I realized, like, A, this is not a club you will ever be welcomed into, and B, like, they keep you next to them to just extract all of the cultural value that you have, and they do that by making you believe that you can be one of them. And the more you do, the more they ask of you, until you lose yourself completely. I think that, in combination of him losing his mom, maybe not the drugs, but I think more than anything, his the blinders he had on for his goals, when he's like, oh, I can be the head designer of Louis Vuitton and be a billionaire, or I can be the next Walt Disney. And then if you're in a bubble in Hollywood and you don't see how you're behaving, like I guarantee you, if I was still in Hollywood, there's a good chance I wouldn't see anything wrong with what Kanye is doing. You know what I'm saying? Because politics is not really a conversation that you're not having political discussions in these rooms at all. In fact, everybody's telling you they stay out of politics. They're not political, even though every move they make is political. They're telling you to stay out of it. They're telling you that they're not involved with it. And it's just really easy to fall into the trap. I think he fell into the trap. I think it's more of a get out situation than it is a drug situation. And I could definitely see how you can become that. I didn't know how egregious the end result would be. You feel what I'm saying? And like, that's why I'm grateful I got out in the time that I did.
I want to say, Carter, I heard you had said cocaine. Don't you ever put that on cocaine. Don't you ever in your life put that on cocaine, bro. Don't you ever do that, bro.
It's nothing wrong.
I am perfectly sane when I come on here.
No, you're not.
I'm perfect, bro.
No, you're not.
If you keep on coming on here with that hate,
No, you're not. You just threatened me in front of all these people.
Bro, did you see how you talked to me yesterday? You shot a cold lug and then the camera went off. I had to, it was like you don't feed me and just left, bro. Bro, and you talking about I threaten you, and I just told everybody I don't want no prelim. This a bitch ass nigga. Back to my thing, though. If I was really interrupted by Uno, right?
Nobody.
Hey, Carl, I just want to let you know, Carl,
no one.
I just want to let you know I'm perfectly sane. From Mondays to Fridays on Connect the Coast Radio with my host, Uno from 7 Records. And the Lord saying to us, cocaine ain't never hurt nobody. No, it's never hurt nobody.
I'm dead.
I love Innocent Mike voice, by the way. Like, this is my favorite thing that he does, is Innocent Mike voice. Where it's like,
bro, I don't do nothing. Uno's a bully, bro. And if I hit the 1-800 hotline, bro, I'm telling you, this is elderly abuse. He's
now the nigga want to throw in elder. Now the nigga, I don't like niggas like this. This nigga 2 episodes ago talking about jump off the cliff. Now he talking about he an elder, nigga. Nah, nigga.
I don't do nothing.
I need a picture. Screenshot that picture of Big Mike. I need that on the shirt right there with the hands up. I need that right there.
I don't do nothing. I come here. I show up to work. Look, he didn't have some no shows and no calls. I didn't tell on my coworker.
I will make this shirt. I will make this shirt for free. Okay, like this is
you snitching now? You telling?
Hey,
it's not snitching if it's public. It's not snitching if it's public.
Let me
tell you.
No,
it's not. It's even more public. Only 3.
Hey,
only 3 niggas know it's no call, no show. Now the world knows it's no call, no show.
The no. We know. We knew about the no call, but the world knew about the no show.
Okay, but check it out though. I'm just gonna tell you, I don't want this to get out of control because I really love Uno. This is like we like the dynamic duo, the Wonder Twins, but he's hurting the old man. He's hurting my feelings. I don't do nothing. Did y'all see what happened yesterday? Go back and read. They made me shut up. Y'all didn't know they had it in the chat. Don't say nothing, nigga.
I'm so dead, yo. I cannot. Yo, that deserves a round of applause. Cool. We gonna wrap up the Yay conversation. Look, we're getting a request from somebody named Bishop, the Bishop featuring Tim. Bishop, if you're still in the chat, where did you send the bread? Because I don't see the bread, I just see the song. So let me know.
Nigga, send the Fetty, nigga.
And we got you.
Fetty at?
Let me know and we got you.
Did you pay?
Key said.
I want to ask about that. Did any of them niggas pay yesterday? Because my little ching ching didn't go off.
Yesterday, no. Yesterday was a free. Yesterday was a free day.
Hey,
today is not though. I got you today.
Hey, Uno. I was trying to put in some parlays yesterday. I'm like, hold on.
It's like, goddamn CTC radio. I'm dead. Hold on, nigga. All right, so some I really want to talk. Wait, am I missing one? I don't think I'm missing one. Bishop, if you're in the chat, speak now or forever hold your peace.